Good morning. It is Saturday, January 18th. I'm Haley Fixler in the Fox 5 newsroom. Thanks for joining us live on the Fox Local app. Well, today it is the calm before the storm. Let's take a look outside. It is mild now, but come tomorrow, there will be snow. In the city, you can expect somewhere between 2 to 4 inches, but the bulk of the snow is expected north and west of the city. In other news, the clock is ticking on TikTok. The very popular social media app could go dark as early as tomorrow. Now, this comes after the Supreme Court ruled TikTok should be considered a national security risk, saying it enables China to spy on users. Mayor Eric Adams met with President-elect Donald Trump yesterday at Mar-a-Lago in Florida. Last month, Trump made it known that he would look at issuing a pardon for Adams, who is facing a federal corruption trial this spring. Well, it is definitely feeling like January outside, and with the cold weather comes ice and the concern that people could accidentally fall through frozen creeks or ponds. Fox 5's Jody Goldberg spoke with a local dive team coordinator about ways you can stay safe should you find yourself on thin ice.
Oscar Bejarano knew his dog Doji liked ducks, but what he didn't know was that the 3-year-old Chow Chow would dig his way under his fence, run down the road and into this Massapequa Creek in search of them.
My wife noticed that he was drowning and she just jumped.
A passerby helped get Doji out, but Oscar says his wife Lorena was already in the early stages of hypothermia and had to rely on first responders to pull her from the cold creek.
She couldn't feel her body. The hospital said 5 more minutes and she could be, dead.
Bob McKay says when it comes to ice water rescues, every minute counts. The dive team coordinator with the Wantagh Fire Department says while rescues are rare, they have all of the resources they need.
10 minutes, you're going to start losing your ability to hold on to things with your fingers. Eventually, your muscles are going to stiffen up.
When a call comes in for a water or ice emergency, members get on a rescue truck. They've got all their gear on here, and they get dressed on the go.
I'm going to throw this into my victim. I would tell the victim to wrap themselves in it. This is an ice rescue board. You're going to have the victims stick their arms in this device. These are ice sticks. I'm going to check the ice in front of me.
Back in December, we covered a rescue out in Mastic Beach involving a man who was stranded in a creek on a jet ski. Fluctuating temperatures like we've been seeing causes creeks, canals, and ponds to thaw during the day and refreeze at night. They also create a false sense of safety when it comes to how strong the ice is. This according to McKay, who says pollution is another factor that slows down the freeze.
It's like mixing antifreeze into your car, into water. They're not going to freeze well enough to support anybody.
McKay shares this advice if you find yourself on thin ice.
Try and maximize the space that your body's taking up so that it minimizes how much weight is on the particular piece of ice.
As for Doji, the fence is fixed and he could visit the creek, but only on a leash. In Massapequa, Long Island, Jody Goldberg, Fox 5 News.
Well, it's been almost 2 weeks since congestion pricing went live, and New York City public advocate Jumaane Williams is raising some concerns about the tolling program. Even though he is a supporter of the plan to charge drivers entering Manhattan south of 60th Street, he says some drivers are being unfairly targeted when they get on and off the Queensboro Bridge.
Because of camera placement, currently drivers getting on the Queensboro behind me to leave Manhattan, not to enter it, are charged because the on-ramp when coming down 2nd Avenue takes you into the congestion pricing zone.
He says drivers are also getting hit driving into Manhattan, even when they want to go uptown, because some lanes force you into the congestion zone. He's asking the MTA for better signage and to move the toll scanners over 1 block on the Manhattan side of the bridge. All right, now to an ongoing legal battle over a centuries-old home in Westchester County. A nonprofit claims the village of Tuckahoe unlawfully approved a permit for the demolition of the historic Ward House. Fox 5's Richard Giacovis takes a look at the back and forth.
Sitting on the border of Tuckahoe's tiny village is a home so chock full of history, it's been nearly untouched for centuries.
It's been sitting there now, since 1797. The yard has been untouched for 300 years.
Yes, the Ward House, a historic home in Tuckahoe that, according to the nonprofit Friends of the Ward House, was originally built in the 1750s, used by both Patriots and British Loyalists during the Revolutionary War. The British burned down the original, but a replica was built a few years later. The home was used over the years as a tavern, a post office, even a college dorm. But that same nonprofit that helped preserve this home and give it landmark status is fearing it could soon be destroyed.
There were demolition permits for interior demolition that were approved, and they were approved outside of the scope of the law.
Sal Provenzano is the president of Friends of the Ward House. Provenzano and other members have filed an emergency request for a hearing in Westchester Supreme Court, claiming demolition has begun on this home by a developer who now owns the property. But under village law, Provenzano says it's not allowed.
A historic landmark cannot be destroyed or moved without it being reviewed by the Historic Preservation Commission.
The property is currently owned by an LLC under the name Biggest Fish Westchester. It was purchased from Concordia College back in 2021. We reached out to the LLC's attorney but haven't heard back. The same attorney has reportedly said his client only asked for a permit to remove a few items from the home, and also claimed that landmark status only applies to the home's exterior. Provenzano, however, is not convinced.
This house would be hands-on living history for the town of Eastchester, village of Tuckahoe, and village of Bronxville.
A demo permit to remove appliances and cabinets from inside the Ward House has been posted on its windows, but a judge will ultimately decide its fate at a hearing later this month. Meanwhile, Provenzano and Friends of the Ward House say they plan on celebrating the 250th anniversary of the Revolutionary War later this year with a small ceremony outside of this small piece of history that has survived in this village for hundreds of years. We're in Tuckahoe. Richard Giacobas, Fox 5 News.
Sad news for students at a Catholic school in the South Bronx that dates back 115 years. All Hallows High School leaders announced that it will close at the end of the academic year. The Board of Trustees says it was forced to make the painful decision because of financial challenges. The board also cited an aging building in need of repairs. Now, the school is located just a few blocks from Yankee Stadium on East 164th Street. It first opened in 1909. Well, the annual list of New York City neighborhoods to watch is out, and for a second straight year, Ridgewood, Queens ranked #1. In fact, almost all of the neighborhoods that ranked in the top 10 were outside of Manhattan. Fox 5 Jessica Formoso took a trip to Ridgewood to see what all the buzz is about.
What is it about Ridgewood that you think brings people here?
I think it's just the vibes, the community. It's accessible to shops, train station. Pretty safe.
For the second year in a row, Ridgewood, Queens has earned the top spot on Street Easy's list of 10 New York City neighborhoods to watch in 2025.
It's like super convenient because like the L and the M both converge here, and I think there's a lot to do, and there's a lot of like really great places to live, and it's a nice neighborhood vibe. So yeah, I'm not surprised.
It's a neighborhood along the border with Bushwick, Brooklyn, but those who live here in Ridgewood say it's a lot quieter. From the mom and pop shops to the historic architecture, and not to mention the landmarks like Rollo's Restaurant and Rudy's Bakery.
There's like a lot of really great places to eat and drink here, of course, but there's also a lot of really great neighborhood spots that have been here forever.
Street Easy narrowed down its list by the increase in searches among buyers and renters from 2023 to 2024. Ridgewood's median asking rent last year, $3,250. Street Easy says not a huge bargain compared to the $3,327 in Bushwick. However, renters say the fact that it feels more residential is what has them flocking over.
I feel like Ridgewood is very close-knit. We're very family-oriented people.
6 of the 10 neighborhoods on the list are in Brooklyn, 3 neighborhoods in Queens. And you're probably wondering if Manhattan was on the list. Well, yes, one neighborhood, Morningside Heights, and it came in at number 10. In Ridgewood, I'm Jessica Formoso, Fox 5 News.
All right, a quick final check of the forecast for you today. Mild with some rain tonight, mostly cloudy. Tomorrow, snow upwards of 6 inches in some places. All right, that does it for us this morning. I'm Haley Fixler. Have a great day. And remember, Fox 5 News is always streaming right here on the Fox Local app.